that was a really brutal year, and lost at home here to South Carolina. Thought I was getting fired right here in this room. Actually, I walked out right there and walked around, and Kath, may get fired today. Graham's sitting in the back there, so I don't know. But can't say I blame him.
We believe Dabo Swinney is joking in this situation. Brandon Marcello and Brad Crawford here with us, but ultimately he is in danger of missing the postseason for the first time in his 17 seasons at Clemson. He said that, of course, with a little bit of a smirk, Brad, but how real is the sentiment, maybe?
I think it's a little bit arrogant of Dabo Swinney to do that in the face of his AD. Now, Dabo Swinney knows he's not getting fired at Clemson. He is Clemson football, but, man, read the room, Dabo. You're struggling right now, haven't beaten a Power 4 opponent at home since the middle of last season. And this is a program, Emily, that 2 years ago had won 40 consecutive games over a 5-year stretch in the supposed Death Valley. That's not so scary Memorial Stadium anymore. You see there, Clemson's 3-5 through 8 games. And the schedule left is not all that easy. That game at South Carolina at the end of the year might be for bowl eligibility for Clemson, a team that was preseason top 5 and essentially a unanimous choice to make the playoff. Dabo Swinney right now, not in great company as far as Clemson's, worst 8-game starts, but he hasn't won a playoff game since 2019. The transfer portal era has passed him by. The facts are the facts. I think you're going to see mass coaching changes at Clemson under Dabo Swinney at season's end. Swinney will be the coach there in 2026. But, man, he's got to change some of that faculty he has underneath him in order to get it to work next fall.
Yeah, I've spoken to people in Clemson this morning. He's not in danger there. He will keep his job at this point. There's no push for that to happen. That's even been communicated to Dabo Swinney. He knows that he's safe. But as Brad said, there will be staff changes there. There will have to be. And Dabo Swinney, I'm sure, is going to sit down at the end of the season to determine which staff changes need to be made. Also, as you mentioned, his athletics director was there in the room, and part of that was also just part of weird circumstance because there was some questionable officiating in that game in their loss on Saturday, and so the AD was in there, I was told, to more or less listen to hear what Dabo had to say about the officiating. I don't think he was quite expecting Dabo to say, hey, he could fire me tomorrow or fire me today or whatever. But from my sources there on the ground in Clemson, he's safe right now. But yes, as Brad said, expect some staff changes at year's end.
Yeah, and this will shock nobody. He did talk about the officiating in that game, but I think the bigger shock is that they gave up 46 points to Duke. And I don't know about you guys, but we do mock drafts here on HQ all week long. We mention a lot of Clemson defensive prospects, and that making it all the more confounding how they have a losing season so far. Speaking of confounding, 4 Miami losses over the last 2 years have come as a multi-score favorite. Another one on Saturday. 4-11 under Cristobal after October. I can continue to go with this, but Brandon, how serious is the hot seat talk for Mario Cristobal?
Yeah, no hot seat talk there, but it's just crazy. Mario Cristobal is like the perfect coach for Miami. He just fits there. I've been down there several times, have spent days with Mario Cristobal, and he just gets it. The staff loves him. The administration loves him. The fan base loves him. And he just seems to have a very clear plan of what he wants to do. And he gets the pieces in place on the chessboard, and then that chessboard in November turns into a checkerboard, and he gets king. He gets taken off the board. It's been confounding, and it's confounding everybody there. And the question about him as a game day coach, of course, have popped up again and again and again, even dating back to his days at Oregon. He had some very questionable decisions that he was making in late game situations there, and that has continued at Miami. And then now, not just that, when he gets into November, talk about pressure situations, late season situations, they've just fallen apart. You're seeing it on the screen. 4-11 in the month of November and December at Miami. That drop-off from August and October to that month is staggering. And what's the common denominator there? It hasn't been the players because they reload every year through the transfer portal. The common denominator there has been Mario Cristobal. So it's fair to say and circle him that he's the problem. But also, he's fair to say he's also the reason why they do so well early in the season. So how do you kind of mitigate those two? I don't know. But for someone who just fits that place so well, I know I'm supposed to be not biased, but I hate to see it because it seems like everything's just in place for it to work.
I don't know how Miami, Brandon, keeps losing these games against teams that they're more talented than. And it's happened under Cristobal now half a dozen times over the last couple seasons. No disrespect to Rhett Lashley, the job he's doing at SMU, and obviously Jeff Brom at Louisville. But Miami was supposed to win both of those games. And they got, beat at the point of attack, at the line of scrimmage in both those games, had critical turnovers. I spoke to someone close to the program last month after they lost to Louisville, and I said, look, man, what are the chances Miami, you guys win out, go 11-1, get to Charlotte? And he stopped me there. He said, we're not going to win out. We're going to lose another game likely, because the writing's on the wall there that Miami, this team is not what we thought it was 4 or 5 weeks ago when they were number 5 and number 2 team in the country. Carson Beck has had a litany of mistakes here late. Miami's had some disciplined personal foul issues that have cost them in big possessions. We saw it happen Saturday in Dallas. So Miami's a team that right now, the ACC is a one-bid playoff league, and there's 2 or 3 teams in better position to make that bracket than the Hurricanes.
Yeah, and Brandon, I don't think you're being biased by saying that. I think that's a common sentiment among college football fans and people that just have eyeballs. It seems like it should work, and it just isn't for some reason. But there's another situation that's similar to that too. I mean, Deion Sanders taking the blame for Colorado's latest blowout loss to Arizona, even made players unavailable to talk after the game because he said he wants it to be all on him. So, Brad, I'll just ask you an overarching question because it's been kind of going under the radar a little bit, which is surprising when you have Coach Prime as your head coach. But what's going on in Boulder?
I'm of the belief that Coach Prime's tenure is going to end somewhat gracefully with the Buffs. Whether that's Colorado giving him an opportunity to step away after the season, or perhaps even negotiating a lesser buyout if the power brass in Boulder demands that he's fired. But I think Deion Sanders needs to get 2026. He needs to recover from all these, distractive health issues that he's had this season, get the quarterback situation on better footing heading into next year. We don't know if Julian Lewis is going to redshirt the rest of the season. If he could possibly transfer, Deion Sanders kind of alluded to it Saturday night. He said, look, I haven't spoken to Julian's family. We don't know what he's going to do. We just want to get him some reps. I don't know why we thought, a lot of us national media types, Colorado could match last season's success in 2025 when you lose a player like Shedeur Sanders and the Heisman winner, Travis Hunter. We should have seen this coming. Colorado's a team that was always going to be battling for bowl eligibility this fall, despite, maybe some preseason hype that they could get to 7 or 8 wins. So I'm not selling all my stock yet on Deion Sanders at Colorado. I'm not sure if he can turn it around. It ain't going to happen this season, obviously, with what's happened these last couple of weeks. But I do think he'll be the head coach there in 2026.
Yeah, this should have been a bowl team this year. I thought they had the talent in place, but of course they had the musical chairs there, quarterbacks trying to figure things out to spark that offense. And I think things just kind of got away from them. And now you're seeing a team that just kind of sees the writing on the wall for what's possible the rest of the season. That's why they're getting blown out. You also have to consider Deion Sanders has been through a lot personally, just in his health situation. Battling bladder cancer here in the offseason, where he was in the state of Texas trying to recover and take treatments there. And then, of course, his continued issues with his legs, having an in-season surgery even to help correct an issue there. So that's a lot of stuff. And I know Deion Sanders is not going to, make excuses, not his type. And he's also an easy target for the media and fans to go, we told you this wasn't going to work. But let's face the facts. Deion Sanders has taken over a program that was a 1-11 and brought it back up to some respectability, obviously with his kid there at quarterback, and they had a remarkable season. And Travis Hunter won a Heisman Trophy. That doesn't happen at Colorado without Deion Sanders. So I think he deserves some grace for what's happening this year, because next year, should he come back, of course, he's got to make a decision there himself, of course, even with his health and everything. And we're not hearing anything along those lines. I just want to say that. But he's got a decision himself to make here. But they will be talented once again next season because of Deion and the talent he's brought in, and they should be a bowl team next year. And that's because of Deion and the attraction of the talent there. And I think they're going to be just fine when and if Deion does return next season.
Yeah, ultimately, Deion Sanders was great for Colorado, great for college football. We don't know what's going to happen next, but it sounds like you both are in agreement and that it will ultimately be his decision as far as what the future looks like. Brandon, Brad, appreciate you breaking that down for us. We'll continue to keep an eye on what's happening in the world of coaching and college football. And if you haven't listened already, check out the latest Saturday night instant reaction show from our friends at the Cover 3 podcast. They'll make sure that you are up to date on all the latest results from Week 10. Scan that QR code, listen wherever you find your pods. But wait, there's more. Check out the College Football Insiders podcast. Our best college football reporters, they all team up to bring you the inside information about what's really happening in the sport.